Hello, and welcome to the Run Amuck Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Run Amuck Podcast, home of the best Bachelor in Paradise recaps on this side of Mexico. As always, I'm your host, David Stahl, and I'm joined alongside me by my loyal compadre, as always, Carson Cooper. And this time, no, that is not producer Gary. That is Brianna from Brianna's Bachelor Breakdowns, a channel that we love, that we're subscribed to one channel on the Run Amuck Podcast.
Only
one, and that is Brianna's Bachelor Breakdowns. Guys, if you have not seen her recaps, please check them out. She has an awesome, funny, smart perspective that's different than ours. It's well worth checking out. So go give her some love on her channel. Now, what are we doing today? Because you've already seen, we've both posted Bachelor in Paradise finale recaps at this point. But we got more to say. We got some end of season awards to give out. Like any professional sporting league, we're giving out our most valuable contestants tonight. We're giving out best couple, worst moment, best guest host, our favorite rivalries, etc. We got a ton of fun stuff.
You name it, we have a award for it, pretty much.
And so in this episode, we're splitting it in half. We're giving half of the awards are going to be on Brianna's channel, and then the other half are going to be on ours in the video you're currently watching. So we are giving out on this video most valuable castmate, worst date, best rivalry, rookie of the year, villain of the season. And if you're not sure what any of those mean, we'll be explaining them before we give each one out. Now, on Brianna's channel, you can look forward to couple of the season, perhaps the biggest award that we could give out in Bachelor in Paradise. Best guest host, we saw some colorful ones. Most likely returnee, I think that's going to be a fun one. And then best and worst moment. So some big ones there. But guys, let's start off with an important one. The most valuable castmate. Now, this is a really subjective one to me.
Sure.
This award, it goes to not simply the most popular or long-standing or even romantically successful castmate, but instead the castmate who best represented what Bachelor in Paradise is. Maybe they offered great sound bites. Maybe they sparked some entertaining drama, made their presence known on the beach. Essentially, this is someone who carried a couple fun plot lines for us. So as a courtesy, we will start with our guest, Brianna. Welcome to the channel. Let the people know who to you was the most valuable, colorful character we saw from this season.
Okay. Hey everybody. Thanks so much for having me on today, guys. Super excited. Just to get straight into it. So I might have a controversial answer. I don't know.
I like that already.
My most valuable castmate. I said Aaron. Because I feel like when you think about it, I read the description very carefully. He was involved in multiple relationships. He had Tammy, Becca for all of 2 seconds. But he did get a rose from Becca. He had Chelsea, Tia, and James. He left in one of the strongest relationships. He also had the best one-liners. I lived for his confessionals. He was always salty. You could always count on a word from Aaron. And his beef with Thomas. I feel like that was a storyline. It kind of, fizzled out along the way, but he certainly came in hot for his mortal enemy.
That was my under the radar. That's
an awesome
money
pick.
In the bank.
Yeah.
That is exactly, and I think he towed the line perfectly. I might bring this up a little bit later in another category. I think he towed the line perfectly of having those rivalries without taking it too far, because we've seen them. If anyone remembers Bad Chad Johnson from a few seasons ago, that was a guy who was like, okay, this dude may be a straight criminal. He might actually hurt someone out here. Aaron, he's just puffing his chest out. All
right.
Classic hold me back fights. Nothing's going to happen, but we'd love to see it.
That's right. Yeah.
Impeccable. Coop, what you got?
So mine might seem like an obvious answer here, but I'm going with Grocery Store Joe, and this is why, okay? I don't think it's every season that we get such a strong, I don't want to say main character, but someone who gives you a direct narrative throughout the season, right? And especially something like Paradise, where it's notably very chaotic, crazy, wild, out there, right? Spontaneous. With all that, we got lots of that this season. I think we found some solace in kind of going back to Joe, who kind of brought this almost fatherly figure mentality to the set, I thought.
Borderline grandfatherly.
Borderline grandfatherly.
When he starts talking social media, we get into granddad territory.
That's the power of social media.
That's the power of social media, I guess.
Yeah, and I just thought he provided a nice balance from, all the typical things that we would see in Paradise, which we still got to see. And you know what? Sometimes Joe would push himself right into the drama, kind of asserting himself in it and very much taking a leadership role in, various quarrels between castmates and kind of leading these uprisings against other castmates in a few situations. So for that reason, because he's kind of this central figure, I know it might be a little bit of low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to go with Grocery Store Joe.
I love that one. And I actually think that mine might sit right in the middle of your two selections, because it's someone who was involved in a lot of drama. Definitely wasn't the main character like Joe, but pretty damn close. We saw far less of a narrative, but he was certainly involved in a lot, and he got his love story. Look, I'm blatantly biased, but it's our boy Kenny Brash. Shout out to, and why I think he was so valuable. First of all, he dated, like you mentioned with Aaron, he also dated a hefty amount of people.
Yeah, he got around. Yeah,
and he had two really strong ones and Tia kind of came in. I actually thought that they were really going to hit it off, and then that kind of fizzled out into being nothing. But Demi, he had that whole storyline. Mari caused one of the most dramatically iconic moments in Bachelor in Paradise history, particularly involving a future engaged couple. We don't normally see a couple that goes on to be engaged in Paradise, at least, see that much turmoil.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's the moment that you're highlighting? What's the historic moment?
That cake throw. I'm talking about that cake throw. Because to me, I mean, dude, but we saw that in every highlight reel.
True.
Postseason, in the moment, it was built up for next week, 2 weeks from now 3 weeks from now, get ready. There's going to be a cake thrown. We had it built up, and it lived up to me. It lived up to the expectations. And the thing about Kenny is I think he probably surprised people more than anyone else in Paradise, because he was like literally just the naked dude on Tayshia's season. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of old, bunch of tattoos, my job doesn't seem real, and I'm naked. Like, you could kind of nail him down to 4 easy pillars, and he kind of ended up being a real character. His only downfall was he had the worst toast in the history of the franchise. Here's to fantasy suites. Right? All right, great
romance
selections,
is
guys.
not his strong suit.
No, not at all.
I think, and as much as we love him, I think prolonged sentences are not his strong suit. I think he's a man who needs to say it all physically and then get in and get out with like a 7-word sentence. Short and sweet. Anything longer than 7 words, you're asking for it. You're in trouble. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right, those were great selections. We're diving into an interesting one. I'm wondering if we might all dangerously be on the same page here, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. We're diving into worst date. Now, this award, it can either be given to a date based on like a lack of chemistry between contestants, or just generally horrible circumstances in which producers force them to endure. So, Brianna, what was your worst date? I might know what it is.
I picked a really obvious one. My worst date was definitely Kenny and Mari's taco nights, because that was, I mean, I don't feel like I need to explain it. It was disgusting. I was watching it live, and I wish I could have fast forwarded through that segment, because it was awful.
Oh man, and it is insane how big of a difference. So we weren't a huge fan of James and Anna's churro date, but the difference between a savory and a sweet edible date,
a big difference. You cannot make sour cream like sexy. No matter how hard you try.
No. And you just know, that sour cream hasn't been refrigerated in quite some time.
Yeah.
It was too runny. I just had a lot of questions about the
lot of questions.
The health.
A lot of questions. I also didn't love, and no shade to her, didn't love that I think it was Chef Marie kept popping her head in. Like,
tacos? She was just
how are those tacos doing?
How are those tacos?
Are you enjoying the date?
It ain't about the tacos.
Yeah.
Tacos are objectively the worst part of this date. They're not good, Marie. That's a great pick. Cooper, are you on the same page?
Well, for the sake of differentiation here, I'm going to choose something different. Yes, that was a terrible date and probably was the worst date.
But the date that kind of
I don't know if this will be yours. The date that didn't really sit right with me for the entire season was the very first date we even got to see on Paradise. And that was with Abigail and Noah. And we gave it some flack on our podcast after it happened, because this is the opening to your show. This is the opening to a season. And we go to a glow-in-the-dark place to hit pinatas? What are we? That's the best we could pull out here on
That's
Paradise?
the main course? That's the activity?
That's the main course? Well, and then I was thinking, okay, maybe we have a low-budget season coming up. But we got to see that there were some great dates out there. And there's a lot of fun dates that people ended up going on. I just thought it was such a underwhelming first date to have set up for the first one. So for that reason, I just have to give it my personal worst date.
I like that one. I gotta say too, I know people love them. We're kind of notorious Noah and Abigail haters a little bit as a couple, not as individuals. I just don't see it. And on that first date, it felt, as first dates can be, but we also saw some good first dates. It felt forced. It felt awkward. And then, to have the climax be like you're running around a room smashing paper mache with a couple wooden sticks, I said, it left a lot to be desired, especially to kick off the show. I appreciate that one. The one I thought you might go with, Coop, because I think all three of us, our number one was the taco date. That is I think we should say that is the right answer. That's the right answer.
Correct.
However, I think in terms of pure safety, I'm going to go with Kenny and Tia picking up stragglers at the beach, because there was a point where I thought like they might get kidnapped. Get kidnapped.
That was just weird. Like that, it passed bad and awkward. It was just like, what are we doing?
I don't think those people were part of production.
Show.
Well, not even picking up stragglers who then convince you to take your clothes off. Like that.
Yeah. That night. And the worst part is like that was best case scenario for that situation, was just to leave unscathed. Like we won't get into worst case scenario, but I literally thought like, don't get too close to all three of those people. And I know for a fact that production will do some wacky stuff. I don't think they were involved at all. I think they just wandered up from.
You think those were wanderers?
Nomads. Yeah. I think they do that on a routine basis. So but again, less gross. I would rather see a stranger's junk hanging out on the beach than have someone
fair enough
eating a taco.
That's hard to argue.
Yeah. Now we're diving into this one here. Best rivalry. I think this is going to be really interesting. We might have all different ones for this one. Now, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This award goes to either a pair or maybe groups of people who endured the most entertaining sustained rivalry throughout the season. Brianna, we'll start with you again. What you got?
Okay, so I'm very proud of my selection. This was the hardest one for me to come up with. I'll just say that. But my best rivalry, I'm going to give it to Piper versus her master's in marketing. Because it's not working. She's not utilizing it well.
Damn, that is answer of the episode. Oh man, and I was dying when we talked about it on the episode. There's nothing people like less. There's nothing viewers like less than hearing about the followers. Like, we know that's part of the game. Wall. It does. We know that that's why people come on at times, but I don't need to hear about it. I do not need to hear about it. Oh God. Yeah. That is so funny. And the fact that they got that little clip at the end of the montage at the end there, talking about Natasha's followers. Oh boy, that added years to my life. That's a great one. All right, Coop, what you got?
My answer stems from the fact that I feel like I've been part of this rivalry for now, I don't know, 4 months or so, but I have to go with Trey/Aaron/Connor B/James versus Thomas. I just have to go with all of Katie's guys ganging up on Thomas. I felt like it was going to get left in Katie's season. It just simply wasn't. It transcended that season and quite literally landed on the beach.
They were so ready.
And they were so ready. They were a solid unit. They did some some strategizing in the couple weeks they had off. And that's going to be my rivalry.
Do you think that helped feed Thomas's final meltdown a little bit? Like it was just built up. That man got that. So? I don't know. That man had some built up grief though. That was not.
I'm not sure it came from Connor B though.
Yeah, no. Now, I was going to go, I was flirting, but you kind of took it there, Coop. I was going to go Aaron versus the entire human race because you can't even narrow down that, man. But I'm going to go, I kind of alluded to it earlier, Mari and Demi, because this one was truly impossible to read for me. Like, I had honestly, because again, we talk about it legit every episode. I know people are probably sick of us talking about it, but we called that Kenny and Mari were going to get together on the show before either of them were cast. We told Kenny, you are going to get together with this girl. And so in my head, we planted that seed in his head. And
y'all should get an invite to the wedding.
I know. I sent him the video. I sent him the video and he was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, dude, I need more than that. What are we talking about?
Give me my credit.
You said she changed your life. Well, by proxy, I changed
your life.
But I was devastated because I thought, look, they're done. There's no, like, after he slept with Demi and then he hits it off with Tia, I thought, oh my God, Mari's way, way in the distance. But again, then she comes back from this 3-1 deficit. And the fact also that she was even able to hold her own versus Demi's wrath was fascinating.
That's impressive in its own right. Yeah.
Many people have come at Demi over her 1,000 seasons on this show. And, and she was pretty much like, she was undefeated for a while there, but that to me, it was very, very captivating. Now, here we go. We've got two more selections in this episode. Rookie of the Year. Now, this award is eligible to any first-time travelers to paradise. It can be given for a variety of factors. Maybe it's entertainment value. Maybe it's the number of plot lines sparked. Maybe it's the purest form of all, the success of their relationship. I have a feeling we all want to go after the same person, but we'll see. Brianna, who do you have?
So I just gave mine. I didn't really use the criteria. I just gave it to the person who I love the most. I was looking for a category to give him. I just gave it to Ivan because I love him.
There we go.
Yeah, I didn't really have any real reason. He's just
honestly, he's deserved an award.
Ivan needed a win too. Like honestly, I think he might pull that clip and watch the 5 seconds of you giving him that award every night for the next couple months. Like that man, because
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Ivan is, and the tough part is like he went off on a low note, but it was nothing malicious. It was not like
right. Yeah,
I agree.
They didn't. From all reports, they didn't know each other before. He didn't have a connection.
We talked about it on our episode. Why are we acting like he killed somebody? Like that's how it was approached. The way he was pulled aside and everyone was like hush hush about it. Yeah. Like it was broke the rules. That's fine. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. We don't need to villainize him for that.
And he came in, like when he came in, we all thought, I'm sure you thought this too, Brianna, we thought, well, he's going to be the king of paradise. Like he's going to have his run of things. So. And he kind of did at first, right? Like he had the girl he wanted in Jasenia. That didn't work out. I have a conspiracy theory. I think Chris was actually talking to both women before the show started. I think he was talking to Jasenia and Alana before the show started. So I think Ivan kind of got screwed in that sense. And then everyone else was all coupled up. Like he just got
he lost steam after that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's tough to come back from an ego hit like that. But all right, Coop, what you got?
So I took this award in the purest sense. And my Rookie of the Year, I don't know if I'm stealing this from you, David. The way you're looking at it might be, is Serena P for me.
Queen Serena.
Serena. I just think that she came in with a purpose. She came in with a goal. And no matter what, she didn't really let anything kind of affect that. I think a lot of people say that they're coming into paradise to find that idea of the relationship. And this is something we kind of talked about last week, or actually this week in our episode, how people are so fascinated with this idea of a relationship. They almost don't care who it's with. They just want that, the idea of how great a relationship can be. Whereas Serena, I felt, came in and she was, very selective. And she was even to the point where she said at the end of the season, if you were to tell me on day one that I end up getting engaged to Grocery Store Joe, I would not have believed you. But, that's just the way kind of fate worked with her. And for that reason, I just thought she came in with the goal and she stayed focused. And she gets my Rookie of the Year for that.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about her maturity too. We're talking Rookie of the Year. She acted like she'd been a part of this show for like 18 seasons.
Exactly.
She was 28 years old. Like the way she dealt with that
extremely
nonsense. Every turn she was the best. But okay, I had a backup, and anyone who's watched this show should know who I'm going with. It's my boy James, baby, rookie of the year. And hey, he didn't fall in love. Okay, so Brianna, I don't know if do you know my history with James, my backstory of my love for James?
I'm afraid I don't.
Okay, so when he came on for KD's season, he came out of the box, right? And he was dressed to the nines. He was handsome. He was mysterious. He seemed like he had an interesting backstory. Ooh, this guy who lives in California selling tech, but he's got this thick New York accent. Like, oh, I'm fascinated. And I called after episode 1 that he was a future bachelor. And it only went downhill from there. And then every decision he made, it's not only a reflection on you, James, it's a reflection on me in this program. However, at a certain point, James wasn't even playing Bachelor in Paradise. This man was playing Survivor, and I love Survivor. And he made it to the end. He might be the sole survivor had he clung on to Anna there. So I gotta give it up. I promise, no more awards for James. That's the last one I got for him, I swear. All right, guys.
I think James is slept on. Like, I think he's very under the radar, but like, he's quality. He's a quality dude. I kind of had my eye on him at the beginning of KD season 2. I was like, okay, Sue, like the hair, like I really liked his vibe. But I think he slept on. I don't think he got enough airtime.
I'll be honest, I gave James a lot of flack, more so through David, because of David's proclamation that this man's gonna be the next Bachelor. Immediately, the second that guy popped out of the box, David texted me, "Oh, that's our next Bachelor." But like you, Brianna, I definitely came around to James this season in particular. I ended up genuinely really liking the guy. Not that I didn't like him before, but I think I was giving him unwarranted flack because of the absurd notion that he was going to be the Bachelor immediately.
Well, I'm trying to diagnose what exactly it is about James that wasn't garnering him really any interest from people on the beach. I guess Anna was interested. To me, that was a little bit of, it started off as, well, I got no other options. Then it turned into rose-tinted glasses. She kind of like convinced herself that she was really into it because she wanted a relationship in general. I think it's one of two things. I think either he struggles, like a lot of dudes, to move from that friend stage and push it and progress it further. I think that was maybe the issue with Tia. I think that was the issue with a couple of his matches. Or he might just be kind of boring. I don't know. It sounds like he's got an interesting story, but to converse with...
We just never get to hear it.
Yeah. No one's interested enough to ask him enough questions. Like, oh, wait, you lived here. Oh, I just didn't care enough to ask. But those were great selections, guys. We got one final... this one may be the easiest softball for all of us. We'll see. But we've got villain of the season. Of course, this award goes to the villain who, while potentially being shady, disrespectful, reckless, all the above, also provided some major plot lines and sustained entertainment. Guys, what you got? Brianna, who'd you pick?
Yeah, this was the hardest one that I was like, I don't know if we can all have separate choices.
Yeah.
I just had Brendan for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Go ahead, Coop.
I don't think I've ever seen a villain more overtly showed in a show, this show anyways, than Brendan. I mean, it was just despicable.
Yeah.
We went through it in lengths, like the weeks after it occurred, and it's just, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me.
We don't even need to get, that's,
we don't even need to get into
that's the answer. That's the answer. I do have a quick little backup. And this really isn't her fault, but it's my final image almost of the season. Kendall, like,
oh yeah,
and not because of who she is, but her position. She was trying to stand in the way of what we all knew was true love. And I'm sure, hey, look, we're all the main characters in our own story. I'm sure in her mind, she was thinking, oh man, I'm gonna get him back, and our love story is going to be complete where we started on the beach. However, I've seen enough Pixar movies to know that you're automatically dubbed the villain when you're trying to come between the two main characters. Like, come on now. And it sucks that our final impression of her is her coming down to the beach and interrupting a proposal.
She could have kind of rode off into the sunset in my mind, but now that's when I think of the engagement.
Or at least faded into the fog.
Fade into the fog is probably better. Yeah. Probably a better analogy. Yeah.
But again, Kendall, it's Brendan. You're getting a stray bullet because I wanted to spice up the answer, but it's Brendan.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Now we are going to hand over the stage, plug to our channel, whatever you want, Brianna. If you throw a social media, throw it a channel. The stage is yours before we head over. We're going to be traveling over to Brianna's Bachelor Breakdown for the second half of this episode. Brianna, the stage is yours.
Yeah, so just again, thank you so much for having me on. This first half has been so much fun. You can find me on my own YouTube channel at Brianna's Bachelor Breakdown. I also have a TikTok by the same name. And I have an Instagram, Brianna__green, spelled like the color. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I'll see you guys on my channel.
Check it out. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Check it all out. Well worth the visit. Thank you so much, Brianna, and we will see you on your channel.
Run Amuck.